Equal Education is continuing its fight for safer schools. The NGO staged a protest at the Basic Education Department earlier today. The group says this is to push government to fulfill its legal and moral duty to guarantee pupils a safe and dignified learning environment. Let's discuss some of their concerns further. I'm joined now by Equal Education researcher Liz Biney. Liz, good afternoon. Welcome to Today on eNCA. Just very quickly first, as an overriding question, how was the picket? Was it successful? Did you manage to achieve the goals with this 10 o'clock morning picket?
Well, I am speaking to you from the eNCA, but my comrades in Gauteng are staging the picket, and I'm confident that it is successful. We are not going to stop with this one. Next week, there will be another one happening in the Eastern Cape. We are going to continue until the department actually comes to the table and comes to the party with our demands for eradication of poor infrastructure across schools in South Africa.
Okay, what's wrong with the proposals currently that you are disputing in terms of the school infrastructure law? What are your major concerns as Equal Education?
Well, we have at least three major concerns with these current proposed amendments that have been made to the norms and standards for public school infrastructure law. Our first and most important problem with these proposals is that the supposed changes that the department wants to make in essentially takes away the deadlines that are within the law that make sure that government actually sticks to a clear plan of eradicating poor infrastructures in schools across the country. Now, with those removals of those deadlines, we could see a situation where learners and school communities are waiting up to 20, 30 years for their poor infrastructures to be eradicated and be replaced with appropriate ones. This is unconstitutional, it is unfair, it is not morally correct, and we don't want the department to go ahead with that proposal. Our second issue is that in the current law, there are some stipulated guidelines that help provincial education departments to give plans and reports and feedback to the department so that they can then obviously make that information publicly available. Now, the proposed amendments tries to take away those guidelines, which essentially means that when education departments make those reports or plans and provide it to the department, we will see a situation where invariably we will have 9 different forms of reporting, which is not standardized. We will not be able to compare apples with apples, and we will have some provinces offering more information or sophisticated information, whilst other provinces are just offering bare minimum or poor quality information. We know this for a fact that this is the current situation we are facing in rural provinces like your Eastern Cape and your Limpopo. So that is not acceptable for those guidelines to be removed. Guidelines that offer standardization and a formal way of comparing progress across provinces. And then our third and final issue is that the department, the way they put across these proposals or these changes that they want to make, it is not user-friendly. It's difficult to understand and to grapple with, and that limits or hinders public participation in a meaningful and clear way. So it doesn't matter if they extend the deadline for public comments for another 6 months or even a year. If the public does not understand what these proposals entail and how to interrogate or engage with it, then there's no point in actually giving that opportunity for public participation.
Okay, that public participation has been extended after you intervened, I understand, together with the Equal Education Law Center. It's now been extended to the end of this month, the end of July. What are you going to be doing between now and then to ensure that what you are campaigning for is successful?
So what has been done is that our request for the deadline or the time frame to be extended to allow the public more time to mull over or think over the issues, That we got from the department, but we had a second major ask from the department in our letters addressed to them, and it was for them to clarify or explain these proposals they are making, because the document is quite complex. It's difficult to understand these proposals that have been put in place. And I put it to you, we have lawyers. I am legally trained, but I also struggle to follow some of the proposals. So we don't think that the public will be able to engage with it in a meaningful way that it is required for these public comments. And these issues that are being put forward affect the most vulnerable members of our communities. It affects a huge segment of our population. So for this proposal to be put in a language and in a manner that the public cannot engage with, it's not acceptable. So from now until the deadline of 31st July, we are mobilizing the public, we are educating them, we are capacitating them with the right information, how to think about it, so that we clarify the language for them, they understand, and then they engage with the content accordingly.
Okay, thank you very much, Liz, for your time. Liz Baini, education researcher for Equal Education.